Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a personality blueprint that honestly seems like a total contradiction. It's this fascinating paradox that pits a real drive for action against a deep need for caution. So let's start to unravel this thing.
So let's just jump right into the puzzle. Can a person really be boldly assertive and, at the same time, meticulously cautious? A super fast thinker who actually prefers a slow, deliberate pace? I mean, it sounds like it just shouldn't work, right? But it's the very core of the personality we're digging into today.
Okay, so to even begin to wrap our heads around this, we've got to clear something up first. It's a really common point of confusion. You see, when people talk about a type D personality, they could be talking about two completely different things, and getting that distinction is absolutely key.
On one hand, you've got the D for dominance, which comes from the DISC workplace profile. This is your classic, assertive, goal-driven leader. But then, on the other hand, you have D for distressed, which is the term from clinical psychology. That one describes someone with a tendency for negative feelings and social withdrawal. They share a letter, and that is about it. They are two completely different worlds.
All right, let's look at the first piece of this paradox, the dominance type. You can think of these folks as the drivers, They are all about getting things done, taking control, and winning. Their whole world revolves around forward momentum and just achieving results, period.
And then, you've got the other half of the equation, the C-type, for conscientiousness. This is the part that prizes precision, logic, and having a solid structure. These are your planners, your thinkers, the ones who prefer a careful, methodical approach to make sure everything is accurate and high quality.
So, the big question is, how on earth do you put these two together? The charging, forward-moving D and the super cautious, analytical C. In the same person? You'd think it would just, short-circuit, right? Well, let's see how they can build this unique and surprisingly powerful personal blueprint.
Well, what's so fascinating is that instead of clashing, they actually create this incredible synergy. You get the raw, competitive drive of the D, but it's guided and focused by the C's need for precision and quality. This blend creates a seriously strategic thinker, someone who doesn't just want to win, but has a meticulous, well-thought-out plan for how to do it right.
But here's where it gets really interesting. This blueprint isn't just about how you act at work. No, it goes way, way deeper. Just take a look at this quote. It kind of peels back the curtain, showing how creative strategies, things that might seem totally random, are actually a core part of the toolkit.
And this right here, this is such a brilliant point. Things that look like hobbies, irony, wordplay, even karaoke, they're not just for fun, not in this system. They're actually forms of brain training. They build mental flexibility, they strengthen memory, and they develop the abstract thinking you need to spot patterns that other people might just miss. It all feeds back into the whole C/D system.
Okay, so you have this really complex mix of traits. How do you manage it all? Well, the source material points to this really sophisticated process of self-mastery. It has a unique structure that's described as a kind of personal, Da Vinci-like dramaturgy. Pretty cool, huh?
It's a process that has this really interesting rhythm, pulling from two totally different places. First, there's this inward reflection, inspired by Buddhist practices. It's about letting go of old identities, shedding that ego. And then it flips to this outward observation, totally inspired by Da Vinci himself, just keenly observing the world to understand it and learn from it.
And listen, this Da Vinci comparison, it isn't just some fancy metaphor. It's actually grounded in some really interesting parallels. The source suggests there are shared traits, like high creativity and a knack for pattern recognition. It even makes a connection through the lens of neurodivergence, pointing out how things like dyslexia or living outside societal norms can sometimes be incubators for really innovative, out-of-the-box thinking.
So, you've got this rich, complex, internal world all figured out. But what happens when that runs up against the outside world, where people just want to slap a simple label on you and call it a day?
I love this quote. It's funny, yeah, but it's also incredibly self-aware. It's this recognition that, hey, under enough pressure, when you're beside yourself, any of us can slip into a state that looks a lot like that other kind of type D, the distressed one. It's a powerful reminder that our temporary state isn't our permanent identity.
And that really brings us to a super crucial point. It's all about the danger of labeling. If someone on the outside doesn't get your complex inner workings, what do? They reach for the simplest, easiest label they can find. They might see the stress, but completely miss the underlying system and end up misinterpreting everything through this really narrow and frankly wrong lens.
So at the end of the day,
What this all shows us is that these personality frameworks, they're not boxes to trap us in. They're just a language, a way for us to tell our own story, to make sense of our own complexity. Which leaves us with a final thought for you. What's the unique, maybe even paradoxical, story that your personality is telling?